everybody, this is Freddy with FreddyCanFly, and in today's video I wanted to do a quick comparison for those of you out there that are interested in the awesome new OMP helicopters that are kind of starting to just blow up all over the place here. If you've been shopping around online or from a friend or anything like that and you've noticed that there's kind of a different selection out there, I just wanted to kind of let everyone know what to look for, what you're buying, what you're going to be using it for, so forth and so on. So I just wanted to do a quick OMP, the M2 version 2 model, versus what you would get if you get the M2 Explorer model. There is a price difference. I think it's right around, oh gosh, I want to say like $100 or so difference, depending on what you're paying for shipping and whatnot. But you'll see I've got the two models here. I've got my OMP frenzy thing going on. This one's my babes. This is my wife's little OMP. Unfortunately, they don't make it in teal. If they made an all-out teal one, she'd be chomping at the bit for that. But so I'm going to set this little one off to the side. So here we go, guys. Right here, we've got the OMP. We've got the M2 version 2. And then we've got, just right out of the box here, we've got the M2 Explorer. Now, subtle differences as we look upon the machines here. I mean, they're almost exactly identical, plus or minus a couple of features of the machine. And that's kind of where the price difference comes from. To be fair, they both fly exceptionally well. Not that you should ever attempt to do so, but if you could somehow put a blindfold on, and I mean, everybody knows that you can feel your machine when you fly, you know what I mean? You get that feeling. They fly absolutely identical. I don't notice any flight characteristics difference between them. It's mainly physical, a little bit of cosmetic stuff here and there, and that's the kind of stuff I want to go over with you. Because in all fairness, for $100 difference, you can go with the M2 Explorer. It has all the same features. I mean, you still have self-stabilization. You can utilize that for bailout. The blades appear to be exactly the same. But it just has a little bit more of, I don't want to say downgraded parts because that sounds bad, but we'll just say more cost-effective parts, hopefully. So let's go ahead. I'm going to pop the canopies off real quick on these, and let's take a little bit of a closer look at what you get. So with the Explorer, again, it's the same thing too. Canopy pops right off. You have just about the exact same design, same fly barless control unit. Now, the M2 Explorer that I got here, again, I just popped this one right out of a box. So it doesn't have the Spectrum satellite or anything on it yet, whereas this is my personal model here. This is what I fly with. So, minus the Spectrum satellite, let's take a look at some differences. If you guys were able to watch my out-of-the-box review or even program and setup, you've seen this little guy quite a bit. But just to recap, let's kind of start from the head down. The M2 V2, of course, has this amazing all-metal machined main rotor. The grips are going to be a good point for you to look at. And then also you've got the head button. I really love, though, on the M2 V2 how it has the engravings. If for any reason you did not have access to, let's say, a pitch gauge, not that it's going to be a perfect setup, but at least you have somewhat of something to eyeball to see if you've got 0 degrees, and you can kind of judge where to put your plus and minus and whatnot, okay? Swash plate, I mean, just everything from the ground up on this thing's basically all metal, right? So that's one thing to take into consideration. It does cost more, okay? When we bust out the M2 Explorer Edition, you'll notice on the main rotor it does look immediately visibly a lot different. Main hub is metal, so that's nice, but you'll notice it does not include the head button. And the arms, they are not, from what I've researched, okay, they're not a plastic. I believe they consider these to be a carbon composite material, which is, I guess, really strong plastic. Again, I'm not a scientist, guys. I don't know where they come up with all these terms, but it looks good. I do like the way that it looks. You'll notice that the outer ring on the swash also is the carbon composite material. But the black against the chrome always kind of adds a cool look, a cool feature. Now, in the event of a crash or an accident, I'm going to say that it's safe to assume it's cheaper to replace the carbon composite material on the swash and the blade grips as compared to the metal ones, which are on the V2. So that's probably a big part of the cost difference. They both have adjustable linkages, so everything is the same there. So besides the main rotor, which again we'll take a look at the subtle differences. Oh, and also it doesn't have the, this is kind of a downer for me, but it doesn't have the pitch indicators on top of the grips too. Not the end of the world, but again, it's just a feature that I really like on the V2. So for me, that's kind of worth a couple extra bucks. Looking at the fronts, again, guys, they're exactly the same. Same battery system. You know, again, you've got the little tongue groove pull out. It comes with the, God, these blades are really loose. Sorry, guys. It comes with the pack pre-installed and everything. You're rocking the XT30 connectors still. Fly barless control unit still exactly the same. If you guys, again, haven't seen my video yet on how to enter in and set up your parameters, feel free to check that out. These are going to be the same. The Explorer and the M2 V2, they program the same. The next biggest difference, I would say, is coloring. So on the M2 V2, they offer 3 different color schemes, and on the M2 Explorer, they offer 3 different color schemes. So that alone, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm sure you can get online and just buy the canopies and whatnot to match your liking. But for example, on the M2, if you buy the racing yellow, you get yellow anodized motor, you get the yellow tail motor, the yellow plate. So they kind of theme it out a little bit, right? And I like that. I think that's cool. I really like the. I'd like to have, again, I'd like a teal one would be sweet. I want like a blood red one would be really cool. That would kind of fits the whole FreddyCanFly thing. But who knows? Maybe one day. With the Explorer, you get actually just the black motor and the tail motor. Okay, so those are going to be black. Your tail plate, if you will, your little mounting plate here is more of a chrome, shiny finish, if you will. So it doesn't necessarily come with the color matching parts, which again I would assume is a bit of the lower cost that's involved, which is fine. I like the black. I think it looks great. And then last but not least, guys, the only other real difference between the Explorer and the M2 V2 is on the B2 here, you'll notice my servos. The casing on them is a machined metal, which I think, again, it just looks fantastic. It makes the helicopter feel a lot more rugged and robust than it actually is. You know, just it adds that overall quality and appealing characteristic to it. Internally, they are metal geared servos, right? Now, to cut some expense and make things a little bit more affordable, that way they can reach out to all audiences here. The Explorer, you'll notice, has the, again, I'm assuming it's the same stuff. It's a carbon composite material, really heavy-duty plastic servo cases, right? So we don't have the metal servos on this one. Now, they are metal on the inside, right? The internals, the gearing is the same, but the casing, from what I understand, and the housing is kind of where the big difference lies, and I'm sure that cuts a huge expense off of what the machine costs. Again, we're looking at about $100 difference, plus or minus a couple cents here and there, based on shipping and whatnot. But that's it. When you guys are looking to go and purchase a machine, that's a big difference, right? Especially for a micro heli, you're looking at one that's $100 more for some bells and whistles, whereas you got one that's around $100 less, and maybe you're not riding visually, you know, a Lamborghini or a Ferrari. However, performance, exactly the same. They're basically identical. Again, I'm not a scientist or an engineer. I don't know if, you know, the voltage or the kV or anything on the motors are any different. I don't know if the torque or the speed on the servos is any different. From my research, I would like to say no. I think purely just with some of the cosmetic features on the Explorer, you get a little bit of a lower price. You get the same battery pack, the same blades, same fly barless, same ESC, same overall look, just a different color variation, and a couple of cosmetic pieces here and there. So I just wanted to address that. I wanted to make a quick video on it because I've had quite a few questions on what is the difference. And I hope that helps answer any and all questions, guys. Both the OMP M2 Explorer and the OMP M2 V2 models are absolutely fantastic. I have so many of them sitting here on my bench. I can't stop playing with them all day long. Literally, guys, I can't even fathom the fact that they make a micro helicopter that flies as good as these do. When I was a kid learning to fly, if I would have had access to tools like this, my overall flying ability and flying career would have been completely different. Trust me on this one. So be thankful that we have this introduced into our hobby, guys. If you don't have one, you need to get one. Of course, you can go on to Fatboy Heli Products website to go ahead and place an order, or again, I am partnered with them, so feel free to contact me via Facebook or Messenger, and we can talk about getting you one sent out. And that's just about it, guys. Any other questions or concerns, feel free to leave them in the comments down below. Don't forget to subscribe. Remember, my friends, Freddy can fly, so can you.